Good day everyone. This is our report in risk management as applied to safety, security, and sanitation. My group member is Biblin Velasco, Bobby Fernandez, Jeric Fernandez, Francis Zarate, Maric Ann Pacheco, Perlin Doctolero, Rosalinda Villuan, Shino Campo, Erica Matabia, and I'm John Paul Sulio. And the topic is Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points in Module 5. Introduction. The decade was the mid-50s. It was time when the race for speed's age dominant started. The major players in the Cold War, particularly the USA and USSR, was racing who would the first to conquer space. In America, manned spaceships posed a problem of food spoilage for the astronauts, making them sick during space mission with the end. Many of these missions were either aborted or failed. NASA came up solution for the food problem. Thus is what time the HAACP was born.
First, I will discuss the principle 1. Conduct a hazard, analyze plans and factors, determine the food safety hazard, and identify the preventive measures that can apply to counter this hazard. And a food safety hazard is any biological, chemical, or physical property that can cause a food to be unsafe for human consumption. A hazard analysis is identify biological, pathogens, chemical contaminants, and physical foreign objects. Hazard in food production. Preventive measures include good manufacturing practices, HACCP, supplier audits, metal detection systems, and staff training. Regular monitoring and documentation ensure effective control of risk, while periodic reviews adapt strategies to involving safety standards, ensuring safe food for customers. Biological hazard. In an instance when food is not produced in a clean and sterile environment free from dangerous microorganisms, it can easily be contaminated by biological hazards such as viruses, bacteria, parasites, and fungi. It is at this stage that the person conducting hazard analysis may look for the steps in producing the food where it may become contaminated by this dangerous for organism. Biological hazard in food. It is when it's produced in unsanitary conditions leading to contamination by organisms like viruses, bacteria, parasites, and fungi. Conducting a hazard analysis involves identifying critical points in food production where these pathogens can either ensuring measures are in place to prevent contamination and ensure food safety.
Chemical hazard. Chemical added intentionally or unintentionally to manufactured food item that may cause serious threat to the health and life of the person consuming it may be considered as a chemical hazard. It is at this stage that the danger chemical contamination to food may occur. So, chemical hazard route is it can be added intentionally or unintentionally. These are the hazards caused by adding dangerous chemical into food items without necessarily knowing that these are dangerous chemical. For example, akala mo sugar yung nailagay mo, but pesticide pala yung nailagay mo, so that is a chemical hazard. Thus, at this stage, make sure that the employees are well trained to keep all the dangerous cleaning and sanitizing chemicals out of the kitchen and other production area. It is also at this stage that they have to make sure that any food additives or food preservation that are chemical based are properly measured in order not to jeopardize the health of the person consuming such food item. While physical hazard at this stage refers to foreign food items that are added accidentally to the food that may cause serious damage to the well-being of the person being affected. So, ang physical hazard naman ay mga items na naisasama sa food like broken glasses, toothpick, and other small items that can cause serious injury to the person. Physical hazard. Among physical hazard that had been found mixed in the food that had caused damage to the customer are the following. Ito yung mga items mostly nakikita or nagkakos ng damage sa mga customer. First, broken glass mixed with ice drinks. Jewelry mixed in items, crack or chipped glass wires that might cause mouth injury. Fragments of tin can mix while opening canned food items. Needles, toothpick, hairpins in the food items.
Principle 2. Identify critical control point. A critical control point, or CCP, is a point, step, or procedure in a food of which control can be applied, and as a result, an food safety hazard can be prevented, eliminated, or reduced to an acceptable level. This step is also known as the killing point of microorganisms, if not prevent the rate of the bacterial growth in order to avoid foodborne illness. Ang CCP or Critical Control Point is isang step or procedure that we can ensuring a food safety in a food production and processing para maiwasan natin ang pagkakaroon ng foodborne illness. The following are example of critical control point: receiving, cleaning, storing, and preparing food items, cooking, reheating, and hot holding, chiming, chilled storage, and chilled display. There are many forms of CCP in the food services establishment. However, the most commonly used is the cooking, cooling, reheating, hot, and cold holding. In order to be easily understood, most establishments, either hotel, resort, restaurant, or any other food services establishment, do not require CCPs, but rather as an SOP or standard operating procedures among of the common SOPs in the food services. Ang CCP kasi is only focuses into critical point where process in hazard, and also CCP is just a part of the broader system like HACCP. While SOP naman kasi is cover all tasks, not just a critical control point. Hygiene practices of employees: washing hand after using the toilet, wearing a clean chef uniform at work, not reporting to work if having a cold, avoid touching nose, mouth, eyes, ears, and hair while handling food at works, using handkerchiefs to catch a sneeze or coach when working, avoid microorganism contaminating food item, controlling cross-contamination, using color-coded chopping board at work among the commonly accepted practices. Ang red chopping board is for raw meat. Ang yellow chopping board is for cooked meat. And ang green chopping board is for fruit. And ang blue chopping board is for raw fish. And ang white chopping board is pang bread and dairy poultry. Separating raw product in the chiller or freezer from the cooked food item. Storing cooked product on the top of freezer or chiller rather than putting. Then below raw product tendency will be then the dripping from the raw product will contaminated the cooked food item below the refrigerator. Accepted hygiene practices when dealing with the kitchen equipment. Property and constantly disposing of garbage inside the kitchen. Properly cleaning and sanitizing pots, pan, and other tools and equipment inside the kitchen. Using stainless steel equipment and work surface should be effectively and efficiently cleaned.
In order to identify the critical culture point of any food service industry, the menu of the food item shall be properly studied in order to identify a critical point of producing the menu, from purchasing to serving, in order to be easily understood. An easy example will be given below. Purchasing of the chicken. It should be purchased from a reputable supplier to ensure that chicken was healthy and butchered according to the proper hygienic standard. Receiving the chicken. Check the temperature of the frozen chicken by inserting a thermometer in between two frozen packages. It should register between -5 to -15 degrees Celsius ideally. If the chicken comes in frozen, it should not show signs of tear or breaks in the packaging. If the chicken comes in frozen, it should not show signs of freezer burns. The frozen chicken inside the package should not show signs of earlier thawing as shown in the gathered ice crystals with blood inside the packaging. Storage of the chicken. Storage of the chicken. Always refrigerate or freeze chicken promptly after purchasing or cooking it, and use airtight containers or wrapping to prevent spoilage. Safe thawing methods will ensure the chicken is ready for cooking without compromising safety or quality. Preparation of the chicken. The frozen chicken should be thawed at the chiller and not at room temperature. The chicken should be prepared in batches and stored back in the freezer or chiller before actual cooking. The chicken should be cooked to the proper doneness and correct temperature, depending on the method of cooking used. Displaying and holding the chicken. The chicken should be displayed in a very hygienic environment. Proper heating in the chafing dish should be strictly followed. The chicken should not be stored beyond 4 hours in the temperature danger zone. The display should be free from dust and other particles that may contaminate. Serving the chicken. Serving chicken is more than just getting it cooked. It's about making sure it's safe to eat, looks appealing on the plate, and it's paired with sides that complement it well. The way it's presented and served can really elevate the whole dining experience, turning a simple meal into something special. Cooling the chicken. The cooling process occurs when there are leftover fried chicken in an open buffet. This would happen with the intent of the establishment that the leftover chicken will again be served on the following day or within the week, if not recooked to form a new dish within the time span stated above. Storing cold chicken. Storing cold chicken. The chicken should be stored in a right temperature. If chilled, the chiller temperature should be no more than 5 degrees Celsius, and if frozen, the freezer temperature should be -15 degrees Celsius or cool. Reheating the chicken. The chicken should be heated quickly. The heating temperature should reach no less than 100 degrees Celsius for no less than 15 minutes.
So let's go to principle number 3. Rosalinda Vilwan, what is principle number 3?
Principle 3. Establish a critical limit for each critical control point. A critical limit is the maximum or minimum value to which a physical, biological, or chemical hazard must be controlled at a critical control point to prevent, eliminate, or reduce to an acceptable level. There are 4 common factors in food service that needs critical limit. There are the following. Number 1. Time is breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning. Number 2. Activity is the sports game, playing a video game. Number 3. Temperature, we understand not to touch a hot stove because it will give off heat and burn our hands as it has a high temperature. Number 4. pH is a substance such as vinegar, tamarind, and lemon.
Principle 4. Establish critical control point monitoring requirements. Monitoring activities are necessary to ensure that the process is under control at each critical point. Time, water activity, pH, and temperature are the critical control points that are constantly being monitored. Ang pagmomonitor ay napaka-importante upang sa ganon, mapanatiling kontrolado natin ang mga pagpaprocess ng mga pagkain at para matiyak natin na ito ay ligtas. May 4 na kailangan nating i-monitor palagi. Una ay time or oras. Ensures processes occur within safe durations to prevent spoilage or safety issues. Tiyakin na dapat sakto or tama lang ang oras na i-apply natin upang sa ganun maiwasan natin ang pagkasira ng mga pagkain. Next, water activity. Affects microbial growth. Monitoring helps maintain product safety and quality. Ang labis na pagdagdag ng tubig ay nakakaapekto ito sa pagdami ng microbiome. Kaya dapat i-monitor natin ito ng maigi at dapat sakto lang ang nailalagay nating tubig upang ma-maintain natin ang mga product ay ligtas at quality. Next, pH. Influences chemical reactions and microbial growth. Keeping it within safe limits is crucial. Same lang ito ng water activity, na kapag nasobrahan sa paglagay ng mga ito ay nakakaapekto sa pagdami ng microbiome. Last one, temperature. Critical for preserving products and inhibiting microbial growth. Tiyakin natin na nasa tamang temperature ang paglalagyan natin upang hindi agad masira o mapanis ang mga ito. For instance, the freezer or chiller temperature should be constantly monitored and the temperature recorded as well as the time the monitoring had occurred. In doing this, any temperature fluctuation can be monitored and corrected. Palagi nating i-check ang freezer or chiller kung ito ba ay tama ang temperature or hindi, kung ito ba ay mataas, mababa o sakto. Sa pamamagitan ng pagmamonitor natin ay naisasagawa natin ang maayos ang ating trabaho at nasisigurado natin na ito ay ligtas pagdating sa mga tao. In an instance that the temperature fluctuates, certain factors may have caused among them might be 1. Sudden mechanical or electronic defect encountered by the chiller or freezer. In this case, the food inside should be quickly transferred to another freezer or chiller in order to avoid food spoilage and foodborne illness. It means, kapag nagkakaroon ng sira ang chiller o freezer, maaring mabilis na tumaas ang temperatura. Naglalagay ito ng panganib sa pagkain na pwedeng kasira ito at maaring magdulot ng sakit dala ng mga pagkain ito. Upang maiwasan ang ganitong pangyayari ay ilipat na kaagad ang pagkain sa ibang maayos na unit or freezer. Food items being placed inside the chiller or freezer had not totally cooled off yet. Thus, its extra heat is heating up chiller or freezer, threatening the other food items inside. Means, ang ibig sabihin nito ay kapag ang mainit na pagkain ay nilagay kaagad sa chiller o freezer, ay tumataas ang temperatura sa loob na maaaring magdulot ng pagkainit din sa mga pagkain na nasa loob na ng freezer. Maaring masira ang mga ito, kaya dapat na munang palamigin ito sa labas bago ipasok sa chiller o freezer. Next, thick deposits of ice inside the freezer can also be a cause of temperature fluctuation. The thicker the ice, the more the temperature becomes uneven. It means na ang naipong yelo sa freezer ay maaaring ito ang humahadlang sa pagdaloy ng hangin at magdudulot ito ng hindi pantay-pantay na temperatura sa loob ng freezer. Ito ay maaaring magresulta sa ilang bahagi na mas mainit kaysa sa iba. Mahalaga ang regular na pag-defrost at maintenance upang mapanatili ang pare-parehong temperatura. Lastly, worker responsible for checking critical control points should be properly took with thermometers or probe, pH meters, and others needed in order for them to able to do their efficiently and accurate. Dapat may tamang kagamitan ang mga nagtatrabaho tulad ng thermometer, pH meter at iba pang mahalagang kasangkapan. Ang mga kagamitang ito ay tumutulong upang matiyak na ang pagkain ay nakalagay sa tamang temperatures. Sa pamamagitan ng mga ito ay naiiwasan nating masira ang mga pagkain. That's it po. Thank you.
Then we proceed the principle number 5. Shane Ocampo, what is the principle number 5?
When monitoring a deviation from a critical limit, a plan's HACCP plan should identify corrective actions to prevent health risk or adulteration to avoid serious problems. Evidently determine what went wrong, check the problem, and take corrective action as soon as possible. For example, if a chiller temperature is 9 century, transfer food items to another and inform supervisors and employees. This ensures the corrective actions are taken to prevent serious issues from arising. 2. Establish corrective action when critical limits are not met. Identify the problem, assess the situation, implement immediate corrective action, notify relevant personnel, and fix the underlying issue.
So next, the principle 6. What is the principle 6, Francis Zarate?
Principle 6. Establish procedure to verify that the system is working properly. Be certain that would be able to verify that HACCP is properly working in your establishment. Make sure that the critical limits that you had established in your system will be able to prevent, eliminate, or reduce the hazard to a very acceptable standard. Since HACCP is a system-wide activity, you have to make sure that the system is properly working in your favor. It should be noted that little changes can affect many activities in your system. Key persons and experts in your organization should verify the system properly for at least twice a year. Sa madaling salita, kailangan mong tiyakin na gumagana ng maayos ang HACCP system sa negosyo mo. Ito ang sistema na magsiset ng mga limitasyon para masigurong ligtas ang mga produkto mo. At nakakatulong ito para maiwasan o mabawasan ang mga panganib tulad ng food contamination. Para matiyak na tama ang lahat ng mga dapat gawin tulad ng regular na pag-check, dapat niyong siguraduhin na sumusunod kayo sa mga tinatakdang critical limits. Mga standard na dapat sundin para maging tiyak na ligtas ang produkto. Dahil malaki ang epekto ng maliliit na pagbabago sa buong sistema, mahalaga na ma-verify ito ng tama. Kailangan magpa-check ka sa mga eksperto o key personnel sa inyong kumpanya at gawin ito kahit 2 beses sa isang taon. Sa ganitong paraan, makakasigurado kang walang problema sa proseso o kung may makita mang mali, maayos agad ito.
And for the last principle, what is the principle 7, Bobby Fernandez?
Principle 7. Establish an effective record-keeping system that documents the HACCP system. In order to come up with an effective HACCP plan in your establishment, make sure that it is well documented in a written form. The document is to provide as much as possible enough information about the hazard associated with certain food items or group of foods that you are preparing should be recorded with proper date and time. For example, records of the team members responsible for developing and implementing the HACCP plan, their training and responsibilities, Hazard analysis. Documentation of the initial hazard analysis included identified hazard, their severity, likelihood, and control measures.
Once again, this is Jan Paul Sulyo, and this is my part in the report and HACCP storage guidelines. HACCP storage guidelines are follows: dry storage, freezer, and chiller. First, the dry storage. There are 14 dry storage. For is never store pesticide or cleaning chemicals near in any food items. Ang mga chemical tulad ng pesticide at paglilinis ay maaring magdulot ng kontaminasyon kapag itinabi sa pagkain na maaring magdulot ng panganib sa kalusugan. Halimbawa, ang mga bote ng bleach at insecticide ay inilalagay sa hiwalay na kabinet malayo sa pantry na naglalaman ng mga pagkain tulad ng bigas at dilata. Second is, keep all storage area clean and dry. Ang kalinisan ng pagkatuyo ng mga storage area ay makakatulong na maiwasan ang pagdami ng peste, amag at bakterya na maaring magkontamina ng mga pagkain. Halimbawa, ang bodega ay regular na nililinis at pinupunasan upang siguraduhin walang alikabok o kahalumigmigan na maaring makaapekto sa mga nakaimbak na pagkain. Third is, deliver should be clean and stored immediately. Agad na linisin at itabi ang mga produkto na inihatid upang maiwasan ang kontaminasyon o pagkasira. Halimbawa, ang mga sariwang gulay na dumating sa restaurant ay agad nililinisan at iniimbak sa refrigerator upang mapanatili ang pagiging sariwa nito. Fourth is, never allows suppliers to carry the delivers inside. This may result in exchanging good delivery with bad ones. Ang pagpapasok ng mga suppliers sa loob ng imbakan ay maaring magresulta na sa hindi tamang paghawak ng mga produkto na maaring magdulot ng kontaminasyon o pagkalito sa kalidad. Halimbawa, sa isang supermarket, ang mga empleyado ay tumatanggap at nag-inspeksyon ng mga karne na inahatid upang tiyaking maganda ang kalidad bago ilagay sa freezer. Next, always remember to keep hazardous food away from the temperature danger zone always. Ang mga mapanganib na pagkain tulad ng karne, isda at mga produktong dairy ay dapat itago sa tamang temperatura upang hindi makapasok sa temperature danger zone 5 degrees Celsius hanggang 60 degrees Celsius, kung saan mabilis dumadami ang mga bakterya kapag ang pagkain ay maiwasan sa zone na ito nang matagal maaring magdulot ito ng food poisoning. Halimbawa, ang hilaw na manok na naiiwang hindi naka-refrigerate sa counter sa loob ng 2 oras ay maaring mapasok sa danger zone na magdudulot ng bacterial growth na mapanganib sa kalusugan. 6. Do not store food near end walls as mold may grow on the wall and contaminate the food item. Kapag ang pagkain ay nakaimbak malapit sa dingding, maaring magkaroon ng amag sa mga masang bahagi ng dingding. Ang amag na maaring kumalat ang makahawa sa mga pagkain na nagdudulot ng mapanganib sa kalusugan. Halimbawa, sa isang bodega ng harina kung saan may sako na masyadong malapit sa pader, maaring matamaan ng amag ang mga ito na magdudulot ng kontaminasyon at pagkasira ng harina. 7. Always lock the storage or to keep insect, rodents, and other animals of the storage are particularly in dry storage area. Mahalagang laging ilak ang mga storage area upang maiwasan ang pagpasok ng mga insekto, daga at iba pang hayop. Ang mga ito ay may maaring magdala ng bakterya at kontaminasyon na makakasira sa mga nakaimbak na pagkain. Halimbawa, sa isang restaurant kung hindi nakalak ang dry storage, maaring makapasok ang mga daga at masira ang mga nakaimbak na bigas o harina na magdudulot ng panganib sa kalusugan at dagdag na gastos sa negosyo. Next, use rack and storing near the floor to avoid the food directly touching the floor. Ang paggamit ng mga rack malapit sa sahig ay magsisiguro na ang pagkain ay hindi didikit sa sahig na makakaiwas sa dumi o kontaminasyon mula sa sahig. Halimbawa, ang mga lata ng pagkain ay nakalagay sa rack kaya hindi ito nadudumihan o nadadaanan ng mga insekto mula sa sahig. 9. Never store food where there are water or liquid dripping. Huwag mag-imbak ng pagkain sa mga lugar na may tumutulo o nakatayong tubig dahil maaring ito ay magdulot ng kontaminasyon o pagkasira ng packaging. Halimbawa, ang mga sako ng harina ay hindi nakaimbak malapit sa isang tulo ng tubig upang maiwasan itong mabasa o masira. Next, use the first in, first out method and the FIFO. Ang first in, first out method ay nangahulugang gamitin ang naunang dating na pagkain para hindi ma-expire o masira ang mga ito. Halimbawa, sa isang tindahan, inuuna ang mga naunang dumating na lata ng gatas sa shelf bago i-display ang mga bagong dating upang hindi masayang ang stock. Next, as a general rule, never store any food item in direct sunlight. Ang direktang sikat ng araw ay maaaring magdulot ng sobrang init at pagkasira ng pagkain kaya dapat itong iwasan. Halimbawa, ang mga kahon ng juice ay hindi iniimbak malapit sa bintana upang hindi ito uminit at masira ang packaging. Next, the storeroom should be well ventilated. Mahalaga ang maayos na ventilasyon sa bodega upang maiwasan ang mga kahalumigmigan, amag at hindi magandang amoy. Halimbawa, ang bodega ng mga tuyong produkto tulad ng bigas ay may maayos na ventilasyon upang maiwasan ang pagkabasa at amag. Next, food should be stored in the original packaging as much as possible. Panatilihing ang pagkain sa kanila original na packaging upang maprotektahan ang mga ito mula sa kontaminasyon at mapanatili ang kalidad. Halimbawa, ang mga bote ng mantika ay niimbak sa kanilang original na kahon upang maiwasan ang pagkataas o pagkasira. Next, ideal temperature as dry store between 10 cm and 21 cm. Dapat panatilin ang temperatura sa dry storage area sa pagitan ng 10 degrees Celsius at 21 degrees Celsius upang mapanatili ang mga tibay at kalidad ng mga produkto. Halimbawa, ang mga tuyong sangkap tulad ng pasta at harina ay nakaimbak sa lugar na may tamang temperatura upang hindi ito masira o maapektuhan ng kahalumigmigan. So let's proceed the freezer. First, the temperature of the freezer should be about 18 degrees Celsius or older. Ang ganitong temperatura ay kinakailangan upang mapanatiling frozen at ligtas ang mga pagkain mula sa pagkasira at pagdami ng bakterya. Halimbawa, ang mga karne, isda at frozen na gulay ay isang supermarket ay inimbak sa freezer na may temperatura ng 18 degrees Celsius upang manatiling sariwa. Second, monitor and record freezer temperature frequently within a day. Ang regular na pagsusuri ng temperatura ay mahalaga upang masigurong palaging nasa tamang kondisyon ang freezer. Halimbawa, sa isang restaurant may naglagbok kung saan tinatala ang temperatura ng freezer ng 3 beses sa isang araw. Third, clean the freezer at least once a week. Ang regular na paglilinis ay nakakatulong maiwasan ang pagbuo ng yelo at bakterya na maaring makontamina ang mga nakaimbak na pagkain. Halimbawa, ang freezer sa isang bakery ay nililinisan tuwing linggo upang alisin ang mga natitirang pagkain o natuyong yelo. Fourth, immediately close freezer door to avoid heat coming inside the freezer. Ang mabilis na pagsasara ng pinto ay mahalaga upang hindi pumasok ang init na maaaring magpataas ng temperatura sa loob. Fifth, make sure the food being stored in the freezer has been properly cooled. Ang mga pagkain ay dapat munang palamigin bago ilagay sa freezer upang maiwasan ang init na nakakapekto sa ibang nakaimbak na pagkain. Next, never put food that is still hot inside the freezer. Kapag inilagay mo ang mainit na pagkain sa freezer, tataas ang temperatura sa loob na maaaring magpabagal sa pagyelo ng ibang pagkain at nagdudulot ng moisture na maaaring makasira sa mga pagkain at nagresulta ng freezer burn. Pangalawa, never overstick freezer. An overload freezer will not freeze the food properly at given time. Ang sobrang dami ng laman ng freezer ay nagpapahirap para sa hangin na mag-circulate ng maayos. Kailangan ng sapat na espasyo para sa tamang sirkulasyon ng malamig na hangin upang mapanatiling pantay ang mga pagyelo ng pagkain. Next, do not mix food items inside the freezer. Store similar food items together. Ang paghihiwalay ng mga magkatulad na pagkain ay nagkakatulong sa tamang organisasyon at mas madaling paghahanap ng mga kailangan mo. Makakaiwas din ito sa cross-contamination lalo na kapag magkaiba ang uri ng pagkain tulad ng hilaw na karne at lutong pagkain. Next, immediately place frozen food inside the freezer upon inspection during delivery. Pagkatapos ng inspection, ang pagkanta ng paglalagay ng frozen na pagkain ng freezer ay maaaring magdulot ng pagtunaw nito at kapag natunaw ang pagkain, maaaring magbago ang kalidad ng pagkain. And the last, to prevent freezer burn, warp meat products and clean warp plastics. Ang freezer burn ay nangyayari kapag ang pagkain ay na-expose sa hangin na nagresulta sa pagkatuyo at pagkawala ng lasa. Ang pagbabalot ng karne sa clip warp ay tumutulong na mapanatili ang moisture at kalidad ng karne habang nakaimbak sa freezer. And for the last, the chiller. Chiller temperature should be 5 degrees Celsius or colder but not colder than 0 degrees Celsius as this may be entering the freezing zone. Dapat panatiliin ang temperatura ng chiller sa 5 degrees Celsius o mas mababa ngunit hindi mas mababa sa 0 degrees Celsius upang maiwasan ang pagkain mula sa pagyelo. Second, chill food should be stored immediately inside the chiller upon inspection during delivery. Kapag natanggap ang pinalamig na pagkain, agad itong ilagay sa chiller upang mapanatili ang tamang temperatura at maiwasan ang pagkasira. Third, never leave chiller door open for a long period of time. Huwag hayaan bukas ng matagal ang pinto ng chiller upang maiwasan ang pagpasok ng init na maaring magpataas ng temperatura. And the fourth, store food as the same kind together. Never mix than to avoid cross-contamination. Mag-imbak ng mga pagkain na magkakapero at iwasan ang paghahalo ng ibang uri upang maiwasan ang cross-contamination. And the 5, no standing water should be inside the chiller. Constantly check the drain pipes if they are good clogged. Tiyakin walang nakatayong tubig sa loob ng chiller. Suriin ang drainage system upang maiwasan ang pagbabara. And the last, do not store unclean vegetable inside the chiller. Huwag mag-imbak ng hindi mahuhugasang gulay sa loob ng chiller upang maiwasan ang kontaminasyon ng iba pang pagkain. At dito na po nagtatapos ang aming report about hazard analysis and critical control points in Module 5. Thank you and I hope meron po tayong natutunan sa ating report. God bless.